After 3 days of nail-biting vote tabulation, it seems like the entire country is anxiously awaiting a final definitive result to the election, which might come down to one single state. This is your 2020 election update, and I'm your host, Roman from the Epoch Times. So let's dive right into what's been happening. But before we do, I wanted to let you know that it seems like YouTube might be restricting videos like this that are about the election, and so I would highly recommend that you smash that like button that's below this video. That way, if the algorithm is still functioning somewhat properly, this video can be shown to potentially thousands of more people. Today, I want us to focus on the states that are still in play, the ones that don't have any looming legal battles or potential recounts on the horizon. So let's not focus our discussion on either Wisconsin or Michigan at the moment. As it currently stands, in order to win the election, Joe Biden will need to carry 2 more states, both Nevada and Arizona. On the other hand, President Trump will need to win 4 states, North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Arizona if he hopes to win. So as you'll notice, Arizona appears in both candidates' paths to victory. And so as my editor called me and told me last night, and I agree with his opinion, whoever wins Arizona in 2020 wins the election. That's because right now, from the current data that we're looking at, President Trump looks like he's likely to win Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, while Joe Biden looks like he's very likely to win in Nevada. And so it appears that Arizona has become, at least at the moment, the key battleground state, so let's focus on it. Fox News, in a widely criticized move, already called Arizona for Joe Biden all the way back on election night, at a time when there were still hundreds of thousands of ballots not yet counted. But since then, Trump's deficit has been slowly narrowing in the state. A recent tally from Maricopa County, which is Arizona's largest county, shows that Joe Biden's lead over Trump has shrunk to around only 68,000 votes. Right now, about 86% of the vote in Arizona has been tabulated, with about 14% still left to go. So the question is, can President Trump still catch up? Well, a Phoenix-based political consulting firm told the Epoch Times that the ballots that still need to be counted may heavily lean Republican, possibly enough to flip the state for Trump. And if it means anything, Trump's campaign themselves came out and they said that they believe that President Trump will end up winning Arizona by about 30,000 votes. So we did some back-of-the-envelope math, and this is what we came up with. There are about 460,000 votes left to come in and be counted, and it would take approximately 60% of them being for Trump in order for him to win Arizona with a margin of about 30,000 votes. For President Trump to win it all, it would take about 57% of them being for him. So let's see if they actually materialize. Now, Trump supporters in Arizona aren't just sitting back and waiting. At the moment, they have converged on a voting center in Phoenix chanting "Stop the Steal," referencing President Trump's claims of election fraud. President Trump has insisted that there were major problems with voting and ballot counting, especially with mail-in votes across several states. And in the future, we'll probably do another video on that topic. And right now, we have some of our reporters on their way to Arizona to report from the ground there, so we'll keep you abreast of any developments as they're happening. However, as we're waiting for the results, I'd like to share with you something very special that might give you a sense for the mood and the general sentiment in Arizona. A few weeks ago, my team and I actually went over to Maricopa County, and we filmed a segment where we interviewed the locals, the business owners, the college students, and even a former sheriff, and we asked them about what issues affect them the most ahead of the election. I hope you enjoy it. With the 2020 election right around the corner, we came here to the swing state of beautiful mountainous Arizona in order to speak to the people and get an idea for which way the political winds are blowing. Arizona is a fascinating place. It is the 6th largest state in the nation. It is the only place on Earth where the iconic saguaro cactus grows, and it is the only American state that does not have daylight savings time. Now, traditionally, Arizona has been a Republican stronghold. The state has voted for GOP presidential candidates since 1952, with only one exception, Bill Clinton's 1996 re-election bid against Bob Dole. However, the state has been inching more and more left in recent years, as indicated both by polling and the narrower margins enjoyed by Republican candidates. In 2016, Trump won the state with 48.1% of the vote. the narrowest GOP margin in recent history. And so we went to downtown Phoenix to ask around and see why that is. Unfortunately, when we got here to downtown Phoenix, both on weekdays and weekends, it's a veritable ghost town. Very few people are around, and you can walk down an entire avenue and see almost nobody. Businesses have been suffering here like everywhere else in the country, and the lockdown is not the only factor.
Our sales not even cover our bills, not to mention our food costs and employees. I'm just talking about electric bills. My name is Rachel McCauley. I own Thai restaurant called Zen Thai Cafe in downtown Phoenix. We didn't get hit only for COVID. The Central Street is where everyone doing protesting. They have to sleep here because otherwise people will, I worry, people will ruin the restaurant.
These protests are part of the larger BLM and anti-police protests that erupted across the country after the death of George Floyd. In Phoenix, sporadic protests still continue. Luckily, we found the Gideon Farmers Market, a place where hundreds of people come to on Saturdays to chat, play with their kids, and buy local products and produce. And we got a chance to ask them what they're thinking about ahead of the election. What would you say maybe your top 1, 2, and 3 criteria are as you're deciding between candidates?
I would say personal liberties is probably my top one.
I would say the first would have to be a balance in government. I think we need a smaller government, honestly.
Environment, for sure. Healthcare. I have women's rights is really important to me. So I would say those are like top 3 right now, especially the pandemic also, the handling of it.
And of course, Social Security, want to protect it because of my age group. So we're pro-life, and I would like to be able to, I wish there was such a thing that we could have some of the poor taken care of without making it so political that it would be an issue that wouldn't be so difficult.
My number 1 would probably be science, also equality. I am not a big fan of right now all the misogyny, all the fascism and racism going on. And then overall, just anything anti-Trump.
Healthcare for everyone is probably one of my first priorities. I think healthcare is a right, and we should find a way to make sure that it's a right that we have afforded to all of our citizens of all statuses and wealth.
Yo estoy decidida por Trump. Creo que la economía es muy importante y tiene un gran liderazgo.
Arizona is one of 4 U.S. states that borders Mexico, and Phoenix is about a 2 or 3 hour drive to the border. Given how much emphasis candidate Trump placed on border security and immigration during his 2016 campaign, we thought that this would be a hot issue here in Arizona. To the left of me here, you will see part of the 300 miles of new wall built along the U.S.-Mexico border, a physical embodiment of the Trump administration's border policy.
What has happened with lax security at the border is that the cartels are now infiltrating America. Other gangs from Latin America are infiltrating America. International terrorist organizations are now infiltrating America. And quite honestly, that's been within the last 5, 6, 7 years. And I believe that it poses a tremendous danger to America. Hi, I'm Richard Mack, mostly known as Sheriff Mack. I'm the former sheriff of Graham County, Arizona. I'm probably one of few public officials and law enforcement officials in the entire country who has walked the drug tunnels of Nogales and Agua Prieta, and also ridden with Border Patrol agents the machine gun boats along the Rio Grande near McAllen, Texas.
Do you see any change over the last 4 years of the Trump administration, their policies on the border?
Well, certainly the border has become a lot more secure under President Trump. I support the wall, but it's not a catch-all. It's not going to solve everything.
What really surprised me, though, was how few of the people that we spoke with on the street mentioned either the border or immigration as being among their top 3 main concerns during this election cycle. But I just wonder, why do the people themselves who live here not view the border as a big problem?
Well, you know, maybe it hasn't landed in their front yard yet. I don't know. You know, and a lot of people look at it in a humanitarian sense. If these people are just trying to make a better life for themselves, well, of course, let them in. I say the same thing. Let them in, legally.
Both parties see Arizona as a key battleground state, evidenced by the fact that Phoenix and Tucson are the #1 and #2 cities in terms of the Biden campaign's advertising spend. The polls indicate a neck-and-neck race for Arizona's 11 electoral votes up for grabs. So which way do people who are actually living here think this election will go? What's your opinion living here on the ground? Which way do you think the wind is blowing?
No clue. I wish I knew. We talk about it every night at dinner. We talk about it with our friends. No clue.
It's going to be close. You know, I wouldn't want to put any money on it. If I was a betting person, I wouldn't feel safe putting it either way.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. Last election, you know, we thought Arizona was definitely Trump all the way, but it's hard to tell. I do think it's leaning a little left. I'm not sure. I've been watching the polls, but I've seen it that way. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think it's swinging towards Trump because when he first came through here 4 years ago, he shut down the city pretty much, and he had a big rally. And same thing when he came I think it was about 4 or 5 months ago.
I'm hopeful for Biden, but I'm not really sure. It seems really split right now, even around the ASU campus, of which way things are leaning.
Well, right now I think they're going a little bit Democrat more than they are Republican this year.
I think people want Trump another 4 years, to be honest with you.
I think it's going to go probably right wing for sure. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a blue state this year. I really do. I think we've had so many protests, and are you okay?
Yeah. I don't think it.
No,
I don't think it'll happen. No, I don't think.
You were betting it, huh?
Yes. I don't think so. I think it's. I work in the service industry, and I talk to a lot of people, you know, homeowners, and the conservatives are still super strong out here.
Just like this couple, at this point, I don't feel any closer to knowing which way Arizona will go.